Hey everyone, welcome to the French Dream Castle. Celebrity fashion photographer Kevin Michael Schmitz here, and I'm on location for this massive scale production that we just created, and it was an experience of a lifetime. And I'm really excited to bring on some of the amazing people that made it all happen, from our world-class Vogue stylists as well as our incredible photographers that flew in from around the world to create magic, shooting Dolce Gabbana models, Giorgio Armani models, models from Vogue, Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar, and we shot literally the greatest images of our lifetimes. And I'm not exaggerating. I've been in this industry for 20 years. I have photographed over 300 magazine editorials. I've shot massive amounts of ad campaigns over my career. And I actually think this was some of the greatest content that I've ever shot in my lifetime. So I'm really proud of everything that came together. And of course, we hosted everyone at this amazing 49-room palace here in France. We had Michelin star chefs providing all of the incredible dining experiences. And yeah, the photographers literally had butlers waiting on them, serving them drinks throughout the week. And we were here for 6 days, 4 days of massive scale photographic production, shooting supermodels that flew in from Milan, Paris, London, and Warsaw. And it was completely ridiculous and totally over the top. Anyway, I wanted to first of all start off by talking about how we're able to shoot talent at this level. You know, how do we get models that are Dolce Gabbana models? How are we able to shoot with supermodels that have been in Vogue, that have been in Giorgio Armani? And how are we able to create content at this stature, at this level, and to be able to just, you know, create unbelievable content? But a lot of it starts with what I would consider your iconic images in your photographic brand. It's very important to make sure that when you're essentially reaching out to models or modeling agencies, that your brand is completely next level. To build a brand like this, I mean, this is a supermodel. She's been in Dolce Gabbana. She's been in Giorgio Armani. She's been in Vogue. She's a world-class supermodel. And, you know, a talent like this, it goes a long way to have a model like this in your picture, because obviously we're at a great location. We're shooting at a palace in France with 24 karat gold gilded rooms like this one, with furniture from the 1600s and 1700s, all original. Shooting with decadent wardrobe from a world-class stylist that we flew in from New York named LaSalle, and then create this just mind-blowing story. But it all starts with the talent. Now, one of the things that I did, I would say early on in my career, is really build my brand with top talent. Even when I was starting, even when I was a student, even when I was doing student projects, I did my MFA to be a professor of photography, and while my classmates were out there shooting with their friends and themselves, and I'm going to book models from Ford Model, and this was back in when I was in grad school in San Francisco, and they had a Ford modeling agency there. And I would go to the top agency, and I would meet with them in person. And I was a punk kid. I'm 22 years old, you know, and I would just pitch them. I'd be like, hey, you know, I'm going to be shooting all these fashion stories. I'd love to, you know, shoot your talent. And of course, early on like that, when you're a student, they're just going to give you their, you know, they're basically what they call their new faces. And their new faces are essentially models that Hey guys, sorry about that. Just a few technical glitches. I know you guys had mentioned that there was some audio issues, so I just reconnected to a different internet connection. So let me know if this is okay. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, guys, just let me know in the chat if this is all working. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Here at the castle, there are literally about 30 routers. So sometimes it gets connected to a different one in a different room. All right. Thanks, guys. So anyway, what I wanted to go in depth with was the way that I started out and essentially the trajectory in which you can start shooting with Dolce & Gabbana models, essentially, because it starts out with you reaching out to these people. And what I did was I started meeting with these modeling agencies, and all you need to do is like, you can literally just go and look up on models.com, which is a really great resource. If you guys haven't used it before, I love it. You can use it for free if you want to. You can also log in and connect with like the pro side of it. But I actually love this because you can find out, big time models. You can also you can find out lists of every single modeling agency and all their contacts. I love it. I use it all the time. And this has kind of become the mainstay in the modeling world as far as a great directory to find who the top models are, the top stylists and all that. And I use it quite regularly, especially when I was casting here in France, because I'm casting all over Europe. And a lot of my modeling agency connections, I mean, I've been working with, Elite, Wilhelmina, Next, Vision, LA Models, New York Models, to all the big agencies in America for 20 years. But, I've worked with quite a few agencies in Europe, but I wanted to get a really wide diaspora of talent. So what I did was I got on models.com and I contacted every single top modeling agency in Europe, from Milan, London, Amsterdam, Berlin, Paris, Madrid. I looked like all over Europe. And it wasn't just, I'm going to contact like elite models in Paris. I'm contacting elite models in like every different region that elite models has all over Europe. So I'm contacting them in every single market. We're contacting them in London, in Paris, in Milan, I think in Copenhagen. Like, they have agency offices all over Europe. And sometimes you'll get far with an agency in, the first one you call, but sometimes, maybe they're on vacation in Europe. They basically go on holidays for like a month this time of year. So sometimes they're just not in. So you might get a hold of the one in London, but not the one in Paris, things like that. So I, utilized that as a resource, and I started, researching all of the top agencies to find the best of the best models. Now, of course, when the models, when the modeling agencies, what they're looking for is basically an email where you're presenting what it is you're photographing, right? So in this case, I'm photographing from multiple editorials. We're shooting at a French dream castle. I've got creative briefs. I have inspiration boards. I'm putting all of that together in an email of who we're shooting for, what the story is going to be, and then essentially what the rate is. So I'm putting it all in a very, very succinct email that I'm sending to the modeling agency. And I have like a certain method in which I do it. And we go in depth about this during the Photographers University about, essentially how you word each email. And it's very, very specific as far as what we're going for. So what I do is I'll first call the agency. And this is important. Whatever you do, guys, don't just email the regular general email address like women at elitemodels.com or info@fordmodels.com, because probably 75% of the time they'll never respond to you, even if you're a major photographer. So what I do is I call the agency, and then I just ask them a few questions. So the first thing I'm going to say, especially if they don't know me, and in this case, I contacted about 20 modeling agencies in Europe that I didn't have a prior relationship with. So I contacted them and I was just telling them like, oh, hey, this is Kevin Michael Schmitz. I'm a fashion photographer in New York and LA. I'm in town shooting this series of editorials in France at a palace. I'm casting some female fashion models. Who do I speak to about the women's board about casting for female fashion editorial? Can you send me the email of who I can send an email for details? And that's how the phone call goes. And then immediately they're going to say, oh yeah, absolutely. Sounds great. Yeah, you can email me at, Jennifer@elitemodels.com. Okay, fantastic. All right, great. And then I will read it back to them, make sure that it's the correct email, because you don't want it to be blocked or go to spam or whatever. And then what I try to do is I have my email open and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. All right, I just sent an email to you. I just want to make sure you got it before we get off the phone. This is very important. A lot of photographers don't do this. And then you start waiting around. Hey, why didn't they send me a modeling package? Well, it's probably because it's sitting in their junk mail or something. And this did happen. I mean, normally my emails are very clean, and it's very rare that like my transactional emails coming directly from me would end up in a spam. But in Europe, they have different spam parameters. They're very, very strict, and sometimes it did. So I made sure that they found it, and I didn't get off the phone until they opened their email. Very, 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 very important, guys. And I would strongly recommend doing that. So after that, they're going to then evaluate it, and then they're going to send me a package of models. Now, if you're new and they don't know who you are, and you're not like a really, if you're not a Vogue photographer, you haven't shot for Burberry, haven't shot for Giorgio Armani, then, they might just send you their new faces. And what that means is like they're girls that are like 14 to 18-year-olds, and some of them might be good, but the majority of them are super young, inexperienced, maybe some of their weaker models that aren't being booked all the time, and they want to get them experience, right? I understand that, but that's not what you want. You want top talent. Because you know what? If you're going after Vogue, you're going after Harper's Bazaar, you're going after Vanity Fair, you're going after Gucci campaigns, they're not going to book their new faces. They're going to book supermodels, right? So I want to make sure that when I'm, contacting these people, I'm going to be always going after the best top talent on their roster. And I'm going to word it in my email very carefully that that's what I'm looking for. And then, of course, I want to give them a value proposition where I don't want to overspend. So I don't want to just like blow the bank and just spend like, enormous sums. I want to use my leverage and my brand to be able to get a fair market rate for them. But most importantly, they want to work with me because they have the opportunity to work with me, Kevin Michael Schmitz, and my brand and what we're shooting, and people on my team. So that's essentially, and sometimes I might even include the fashion stylist or the hair and makeup artist. And in this case, we work with some of the best in the world as far as hair and makeup and wardrobe. So the stylists were, unbelievable. So, that goes a long way. And I don't think that I shared that in this circumstance, as far as who the talent, the stylists were, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, we're working with this stylist. And sometimes I ask too. They're like, okay, well, which stylist are you working with? And it's like, oh yeah, well, we're working with this stylist that's, he's done all these Vogue and Harper's Bazaar covers, and, and he's incredible, and, and blah, blah, blah. So, sometimes we do showcase that just to give them the feeling, the warm and fuzzies, and they know that like, oh, okay, all right, now I feel good about it, because, if you're working with that level of stylist, then, you're going to be okay. Because, that's legit. So, you want to showcase, you want to basically give them, essentially every reason to give you the best possible talent possible. And you want to make sure that you give them no reason to reject you. You want to make sure that like your value proposition is just like unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's world-class. And in fact, you guys probably received some of the emails I sent, but just to give you, some of the, the parameters and, the idea of what it is that we're showcasing. This is actually one of the stylists that we had booked. This is a hair and makeup artist that we had, that we flew in from New York, right? So he does Vogue, he does Elle, he does Harper's Bazaar. We also had this unbelievable fashion stylist that I believe is going to join us on this live webinar. LaSalle, one of my most favorite human beings in the world, who was absolutely incredible. And he was just an inspiration for everybody. And we flew him in from New York, and he was just like completely over the top and incredible. So anyway, when you showcase this, of course, this is the covers and everything. This goes a long way. And now the modeling agencies are even going to be more excited. But I didn't even have to do this in this circumstance. I just sent them my work, and they're like, okay, like, here you go. Have anybody you want. And they sent me, you know, all these A-list models. And that's awesome. So the next step is I like to keep track of it. And what I do is I actually keep, I'm kind of I would say extremely well organized when I'm doing this, because what I like to do is I create this very, very distinct database of all the talent, all the epic models that I have access to that I can cast for the shoot. And just to, put it into context, I want to also keep track of it for the next shoot, because on the next shoot, next time, you know, I'm shooting at the castle, I want to just go back to my database and I'd be like, oh yeah, like, you know, I remember I work with this agency and that agency and this one and this one. And you know, this is the talent that they sent me last time. And they're absolutely incredible. You know, this was the agent. Oh, I got to work with her again. And this was, you know what I mean? So that's essentially how I want to, I want to keep track of it. So anyway, so then like they'll send me a package, right? And a package is a package of models that meet your parameters. So essentially here are some of the talent. This is from Elite Models in Amsterdam. And it's interesting because like I contacted Elite Models in like Amsterdam, Paris, Milan, London, and the one in Amsterdam ended up being the one that I casted from. She was the most responsive. She was the best to work with. And, you know, some of the talent was out of this world. So I was like, oh yeah, great. You know, and I look at these girls and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. She's done Harper's Bazaar. You know, she's an A-list model. She's unbelievable. This girl's actually based in London. Incredible face. And I love her. She's great. And then I kind of look at her social media. I kind of see how she moves. I want to see a little bit about, you know, her. I don't really, I'm kind of looking about also personality. Does she have an interesting personality? Is she fun? You know, we're going to be spending literally like 6 days with her. So I want to make sure that, hey, this girl, she's got to be gorgeous. She's got to move. She's got to be able to do everything. But I also want to make sure that we're going to enjoy working together, because that's important too. So I also asked the modeling agency, when I make my top selects, out of these girls, I'll say, okay, these are my like 6 top selects. You know, these are my top selects. And then they'll check with all the girls. They'll find out which girls are available which days. And then they'll get back to you about who you can put on hold or to do a final confirmation. And I'm really careful because I don't like to like confirm and then cancel people, because you have to be kind of careful, because if you do that, you sometimes have to pay the agency a fee. So what I do is I always put them on first holds. And so I'll go through and I'll cast like a huge amount of models from like, say, 20 agencies in this case. And I'm talking like, you know, I get maybe 300 models to choose from. And I make my top selects. Maybe out of those 300, I pick my top 40 or so. And then of those, maybe 30 of them are available. And then of those, I maybe take my top 20 and I do first holds on all of them. And then what I do is then I kind of sit back and I evaluate which ones are going to be the stars. And in this case, I booked this girl. So I thought she was going to be great. So I was like, okay, cool. This is one of the, one of the models that I'm going to go with. I flew in from London to France, and we ended up working with her, and she was absolutely incredible and super, super fun and super sweet. Loved it. Anyway, so then I have another agency called, I work with all of them for this one, but I had an agency send me a ton of really, really good ones to management. And this one was, I believe, out of, they're located all over the world, and they're really big in America, but I think I worked with the one out of, I want to say Copenhagen. And they had all these incredible girls from like Denmark and Sweden and like from all over the world. So anyway, so from this agency, I'm like, oh yeah, like all these gorgeous additional model choices. I, again, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. Like these are some really, really gorgeous ones. I'm going to choose this girl. So I've got from that agency, I really, really, really liked this girl named Andrea. She was incredible. She was, let me see if I can pull up her window of her images. She was absolutely stunning. And Andrea was, I kind of looked into her and her personality, and I thought that like, wow, like this girl. And I even asked the agency, like, tell me a little bit about this girl. Like, what's her story? And what's she like on set and everything. And they'll tell you sometimes that the girl's a little bit of a princess. They'll tell you. And in this case, she's like, oh no, Andrea is like sweet as pie. She's super cool. She's just like really, really easy to work with. She gets really into the projects. And she's obviously beyond stunning, right? So I'm like, oh my God, like this girl is ridiculous. So I had to cast her. And in this one, she's 5'9.5", but all the other girls I booked were 5'11". So she's 5'9.5", and she was the shortest one. The other three were 5'11", and they were absolute like gargantuan, which is pretty standard in Europe. We're going to go for only the super tall girls. The reason that is they look amazing in clothes. And when they put, these 4-inch heels on, they're literal Amazons. So anyway, another one of these absolute superstar models. I was wowed and dazzled by Andrea. And in person, she was one of the coolest human beings I've had a chance to work with. She was incredible. And by the way, she was in Saint-Tropez in the south of France at this, and it was like, to get on the journey to come up to where we were, it was like a 9.5-hour car ride. And she did it just to like be in the shoot because she wanted to so bad. So it was like awesome, so I love that kind of thing. So we get these unbelievable girls, and they came from all over the world to be a part of this. Okay, so then from that same agency, I'm falling in love with all the models. I mean, they have just some of the most ridiculous talent that you could even imagine. That I mean, it's honestly hard to find talent like this even in America because you're in Europe. I mean, it's just out of this world. So I bring in this girl. And this one I just saw her and I'm like, done, booked. And she's a top model, repped in Copenhagen, but I flew her in from Warsaw. She's Ukrainian, but lives in Warsaw. So anyway, so we flew her in from Warsaw, and she was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. You probably saw the video and some of the images and stuff we shot of her. Absolutely stunning. And this girl, she was sweet, but you could definitely tell she is like A-list supermodel. She has a little bit of that personality as well. Definitely she's stunning, but she also, I have to be kind of careful. I want to make sure that, that the model is really well taken care of. In some ways a little princessy. We got to make sure that she's happy throughout the whole time, and she's not going to like, bow out, because it can be a lot working, she's with us for 6 days, shooting for 4 massive scale production days. And luckily, of course, I have a Michelin star chef providing unbelievable decadence. I have a butler waiting on her, and she had a lot of dietary restrictions and stuff like that. So we had to like really cater to her. But in the end, she ended up opening up and having an absolutely incredible experience. We had some great questions here. Sorry, I want to answer them. Day rates for models like this, it's typically anywhere from like 5,000 to 10,000 a day for top models like this, just to give you guys parameters. These are A-list models. It depends on what they're doing. And it can be a lot higher if it's like a real premier major campaign. She's next level though. I mean, she's obviously next level, and and it's cool because like, we're hanging out with her, and she's telling us about her big fashion stories and stuff like that. She's doing Vogue, and she's this A-list model. She's doing these incredible projects. And she's stunning, and she looks good in like every single angle. And then like, she's like, oh yeah. And then the Dolce Gabbana campaign, and, and going on about this and showing me all the behind the scenes from a Dolce Gabbana campaign. And it's like, Oh my goodness. Not every day you get to work with a Dolce Gabbana model, but this is why I booked her, because I'm like, okay, like let's shoot at that level. Because it really is chicken or the egg. You're not going to shoot Dolce Gabbana unless you have Dolce Gabbana models and styling in your book, period, right? So if you want to shoot Dolce Gabbana, Gucci, Burberry, Giorgio Armani, you got to have that level of talent in your portfolio. So now we do. Now we do. Not only in our photographic portfolio, but also in the video content, which I think, in my opinion, is even more valuable because the video content is absolute gold. And you can see, we went from casting that girl and then shooting her. This is all raw footage, straight out of camera, unedited, just put together a few clips. Like there's, not even color grading here. This is just straight out of camera. And obviously unbelievable location. This is my 49-room palace in France. These are my horses that we shot with, and incredible wardrobe pulled from LaSalle, my incredible fashion stylist, who was totally over the top and amazing. So it was a lot of fun. And to be able to shoot at this level was really, 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 really next level. So anyway, then the next thing is like, okay, when we get to this point of booking these models, because we've gone through the process of contacting the agencies, they send me the models that are options. I make my request, then they tell me who's going to be available, and then we make our confirmations. Then I have to get them here, which is kind of challenging because they're flying in from Warsaw, from London, from Milan, they're from all over the place. So I have to arrange all their transportation. And I definitely recommend myself doing it rather than the agency doing it, because sometimes they will do it and then bill you for it. And of course, now they're going to want like first class tickets and they're going to want to charge way more. And I don't want to do that. So I'm arranging all of the travel very carefully to get to the palace in France. And it's logistically very, 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 very challenging, but I produced it and I managed it. And I booked everybody's flights, their train tickets, their car rides, grouping some people together that came in on the same flights. Very, 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 very complicated, but getting everybody here and making the magic is part of it. It's producing the shoot. Now, when they arrive, I'm also like really careful about accommodation. Now, sometimes when you do a shoot and you're out somewhere and you're not like if I'm in LA or New York and I'm just doing a shoot, I'm working with models that live in New York and they just come to the shoot and then they go home, right? Come to LA, in LA, drive anywhere in LA, they do the shoot and then they go home. But in a place like this, I'm flying them in and I'm putting them up either in the castle, or if I can tell that they might be a little bit more high maintenance and might be more of a challenge if they're in the castle, I put them up in hotels. So everybody stayed in the castle except for a couple of the models. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be extra careful. They wanted their own personal private rooms. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to book them in a hotel nearby in a spa town and have my assistant pick them up in the morning. And it worked out flawlessly. It was absolutely perfect. And then a couple of the other models who were way more chill, I had them stay in the castle with all of us. And anyway, we had all the incredible Michelin star dining every meal, but a couple of the models would give them their own space and it worked out flawlessly. So it was absolutely perfect. Anyway, Sunjata asks, as a low-end professional photographer, how do you feel is the best way of locking in a major agency for talent? So Sunjata, just like I mentioned, you have to go through that process of contacting the agencies, and I would meet them. And that's what I did when I first started. I started out with nothing. I grew up in rural West Michigan in a village of 2,000 people. I moved to California, went to grad school for photography, did my MFA in photography, moved down to LA with $150,000 in debt. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any connections. I didn't have any relationships. And I just hit the ground running. Even while I was in San Francisco, actually, when I was between ages like 22 and 24, at 22 years old, I still wanted like top agency models for my class photo shoots. So I contacted the agencies and went and met with them. I had balls and I went and I did that. And they were surprisingly really cool about it. They were like, yeah, your work is really cool. I showed them some of my work. And it was obviously not that good at the time, but they were interested. They gave me a couple of their new faces. I shot unbelievable stuff. And that was the key, is that like, if you do get the chance to shoot with an agency in the beginning, make sure your stuff's amazing. The other way, but the downside of this though, is it might take you years to build up the credibility for them to start giving you better models. And then of course, even when you get to that point and you're going to be shooting, start shooting better models, they're still not going to give you Dolce Gabbana models. They just won't. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get models like this, because models like this don't do testing with photographers. They only get booked for, full scale $100,000 ad campaigns, and they do big projects. And if they're going to do something that's not huge high budget, it'll be an editorial for Vogue. So they're not going to just do a test shoot. So you're not going to have access to them. This is one of the coolest reasons, Sunjata, that why people take our workshops, because the photography workshop series, you guys get access to my relationships, my connections, and I bring in supermodels from Dolce Gabbana, from Burberry, from Giorgio Armani, from Vogue, because I have access to them, and I give you access. So now you get to walk on set and photograph with Dolce Gabbana models. So it will save you, enormous amounts of time, energy, and money, and hundreds of thousands of dollars of producing shoots with mediocre models along the way until you get to the point where you're, ready to go after the bigger opportunities. But that's an excellent question. Also, Michael Miller asked, how long would you ask for a first hold? You know what? That's a great question. Generally, just to give you guys timelines, whatever you do, don't cast models really far in advance. The agencies will just like ignore you. Like, for instance, right now it's the end of July. I have a massive scale fashion production workshop coming up in New York with supermodels following Fashion Week. It's going to be an unbelievable experience shooting with the best models in New York, and it's going to be high fashion. It's going to be completely over the top. It's September 16th through 20th, and it is going to be an experience of a lifetime, like absolutely ridiculous. As far as the quality, the production, the New York workshop's one of the greatest ones we ever do. And it's coming up in New York. Now, it's September, you're talking like a month and a half from now. And you know what? There's no way I would cast models this early. Because if I did, this is content shot at the New York workshop, by the way, with supermodels from Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Vanity Fair. We brought in this girl had done, I think, the Gucci campaign. We brought in stylists that literally styled Vogue that week. So they brought all the Vogue wardrobe to the set. But anyway, and we shot at a $40 million mansion. That's where this location is. So you guys are interested in this. I know the masterclass in LA is completely sold out, but this one, I think there's one spot left. If you guys did want to join, let me know. But at this production, it's a month and a half out. I'm not going to cast models yet, because if I did, and I contacted all the top agencies, the top modeling, like say 20 agencies in New York, they're going to say, oh yeah, well, contact me like, at the beginning of September. It's way too early. The reason that is because these girls, they don't know where they're going to be. They don't know where they're going to be a month and a half from now. They're flying all over the world. So you might, they might be gone, or there might be new models in town from somewhere else. You never know. But the agencies don't like to book them way in advance unless it's like a huge, massive scale ad campaign with a massive budget, and it's going to like keep them coming into town for that. For any other reason, it's not really worth it. So what I recommend is that I generally start the casting process about a week and a half before the shoot, to a week before the shoot. So it's that kind of, right in that sweet spot. And so like if the shoot's happening, the first day of the shoot is September 16th, maybe like September 8th through 10th, or, around there, I'm going to start this process. I'm going to start reaching out to them. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do it in a timeline that's going to work for them. So yeah, so basically if the shoot's the 16th, I probably start like the 8th, which is like the Monday, the week prior. And that way I can start the process. I can start reaching out to the agencies. And then this is kind of another kind of strategy about this is I've been working with these New York agencies for 20 years. Okay. So I know them all really, really well. However, modeling agents, they get hired and fired like every 5 minutes. So the chances that you're going to have a new agent working there is very, very high. So even though I've worked with them over and over again, oftentimes I go back to New York and it's like a whole new staff, right? So it's still important to call. Even though like I have all my relationships and connections, I'll still call and I'll find out if so-and-so is there. And if they're not, who took their place. Because oftentimes if I email all the same people, it just goes to nowhere because they're not there anymore. Happens all the time. So anyway, I'm going to start that. So it'll be approximately 8 days before the shoot. And that's kind of my good sweet spot. Now, that being said, that's just for models. For the rest of the crew, I like to give them a little bit more heads up. If it's a fashion stylist, I like it to be about 3 to 4 weeks ahead of time. I think that's a good amount of time to book. You could book a little further in advance, but usually it's 3 to 4 weeks, I would say. And then for the hair and makeup, I would say maybe 2 weeks is probably safe. If you do 2 weeks out is usually pretty good. But a lot of the stuff is more closer to the shoot. They don't like to book out way too far ahead of time, just as a word of advice. Okay, so Mike Frost asked a really great question. Would you be able to show an example of a project brief you send out to show your plans for the shoot? I would love to, Mike. I'm glad you asked that. That's a great question. So I will pull one up and I will give you guys an idea of exactly what I would send to a modeling agency. Just give me a sec. I'll pull something up and I'll give you kind of an idea of what the brief might look like. All right, here's one. This is one in which, there you go. So this is an example of a brief. This is actually one that I had sent to an agency and just give them an idea of what it is we're shooting. So it's a one-pager. So honestly, it's not that complicated. But it's got a lot of pizzazz. I took all these best images from like Vogue and Vanity Fair and Harper's Bazaar and stuff from some of my favorite photographers. And then I put them together. It can be anywhere from like 6 to like 10 images. And by the way, I'm glad you asked this because this is something, Mike, that we love to do as kind of some of our photographic consulting sessions. When we do coaching sessions with photographers, we offer that. And it's a really great opportunity to, for you guys to get a free coaching session with one of my world-class photographic coaches. And that way, they can get on with you and they can walk you through this entire process. It's really, really, really awesome to do. It's a lot of fun. You'll get a lot out of it. It's a lot of value and it's totally free. So it's like, hey, why not? Why not? So if you guys are interested in doing that, I will send you guys some links in the chat for you guys to set up your one-on-one photographic momentum session. And then you can do that with one of our amazing coaches, because it is something that I love to do. I love to get our photographers on and coach. And regardless of whether you guys ever take a workshop or not, I don't care. I still want you guys to have as much value as possible. It's really, really, really important to me for you guys to win. So photographic momentum session, I'm putting it in the chat now. Go ahead and click on that and you can set up your coaching session and we can go over how to actually create these. We go through a step-by-step process and this is something that we can show you how to do. So we do this all the time. Yeah, Stephen Paul, we just did one yesterday with you and it was awesome. And by the way, Stephen's work is absolutely brilliant. He's a world-class commercial lifestyle photographer. In fact, since he's on right now, I'm going to talk him up because he is amazing. By the way, this is the great Stephen Paul. Some of his content, which is absolutely incredible. He shot this at our Newport Beach and Miami Beach lifestyle workshops, which that's what he specializes in. And it's absolutely stunning. In fact, during our coaching session, I jumped on with him, which I rarely get to do. Normally it's just our coaches, but I got to jump on personally. And I suggested, he was actually asking about doing print promos and promos to basically share with art buyers and creative directors at ad agencies. And he was asking me which pictures to select. I selected this one. This is one of my favorite selects. It's got product in it. It's got top models in it. It's got great energy. It's really well art directed. It's absolutely beautiful, as everything you need. And this is one of the 4 images I selected for his final 6.5 by 11 promo that he can either mail to art buyers or he can use it as a leave behind when he meets them in person. So just as a suggestion. Okay, so Bree Heath asks, do you put together a mood board for clients or agencies when photographing models or brands? Absolutely, Bree. I do that all the time. In fact, I'm glad you asked. So, yes, there's creative briefs, just like I showed you. So that's one method. That's something more so for magazines. So when I'm showcasing stuff for magazines, absolutely. If it's something for a, like say a national ad campaign, then I do something where I will put together a full-scale proposal for them. And I'm going to actually show you one now. This is an example of like a 27-page proposal and with mood board and everything and budget for a campaign. So this gives you everything you need to know about me. Not only do I shoot campaigns for major brands like Burberry and stuff, but I also shoot for TV shows that end up airing on CBS, NBC, even HBO. I'm actually filming 2 right now in France, which is cool, about our production company. I do the director's treatment, the approach, the solution, the mission, emotions, tagline, target audience. By the way, this is just to give you parameters. This one is a $200,000 ad campaign. So this is a $200,000 shoot. I can show you, but anyway, these are mood board inspiration kind of, videos because this is really heavy with video. And, this gives you an idea. And these are other campaigns I had already shot. So to give you an idea, these are clickable links. So when you go to it, you can actually watch these videos. So I'll show you. So these are some of the links for the other campaigns that I'd shot. And these are for it was a African-American hair brand. So this was another 6-figure ad campaign that I'd shot. And so anyway, the client liked this. So that was kind of the mood and vibe that I sent in the proposal. But absolutely. So it could be your own work. In this case, it was. In some cases, it's somebody else's work that they want to shoot. In fact, actually, in this proposal, it does include another inspiration as well of some additional work that the client really liked. So I included that as well. But I included like 4 of my reels, and then I included what the client wanted, which is very, very similar because they had named a Kim Crawford campaign that they had wanted. So, but anyway, so this gives you kind of a little taste of what that looks like. This is a campaign that I shot. I directed, produced, art directed, and did the cinematography on this. So I shared that with them. And anyway, so this is kind of the process. So absolutely, that is really, really important, Bree. I'm glad you asked. That's a great question. Yeah, Matt Shogan, great to see you, buddy. You're one of my favorite photographers I've had a chance to work with. He says, setting up a coaching call was the best decision I've ever made as a photographer that wanted more. Well, that's that's a pretty glowing recommendation. Thanks, Matt. It's a pleasure to see you, man. And I can't wait to see you again soon. I know you just got a chance to work with me at some unbelievable productions together that we just got to shoot. And Matt created like literally the greatest images of his lifetime. So it was absolutely fantastic. So good to see you, buddy. Also, I know there's a couple of photographers that just attended this epic experience in France, and I wanted you guys to jump on. Kat is one of them. And also, I know Paul Batson. He was going to be joining me from Italy. Paul, if you're on, shoot me a message in the chat. I would love to hear from you. So yeah, and Thomas Cube says, can't wait for New York. Heck yeah. Can't wait as well. So let's see. We have, I know I see Bree on here. Or, I'm sorry, Kat on here. Let's, Kat, if you want to say something in the chat, I can add you to the panel. I'd love to hear from you. So the great Kat Robinson. So anyway, just put a little message in there, and then I can add you. So anyway, these are excellent questions, though, and back to that brief that that you guys had asked about. I know a few guys have seen something like this before, but essentially this is what I share with the clients, and this gives you everything like full rundown, usage rights, creative license, media buys, production estimate. In this case, 194,000 for the production estimate. And this is just for the production itself. On top of this, I also did I ended up with 15% usage fee, which is a little high. Normally I do 10%, but I did 15% usage and then a 10% media buying fee. And then on the back end, I did the media buy for them. And then I did an additional 15% as a agency fee built into the media buy. So anyway, at the end of the day, this is a $600,000 profit, which was a pretty sweet deal. So anyway, if you guys do want to learn how to do that, we do go over in depth at the Photographers University. I know Matt and many of you guys, the rest of you guys have been on that before. If you guys haven't done it before, I strongly recommend it. It's awesome. And we go in depth for our 30-day accelerator about everything you need to know about mastering the photographic business. So it's an awesome experience. We have another session coming up shortly. And basically you get 30-day live with me, and you get coaching sessions live with our photographic coaches over 30 days. And they hold you responsible, they kick you in the butt, and they get you going so that you master your photographic brand, your photographic marketing, your photographic networking, and then closing the deal, booking more clients, making more money, usage rights, creative fees, media buys, and how to maximize yourself, and how you guys can get to the point where you buy a castle in France. That's what we want you guys to do. So we're here to help you guys. Jose Sosa says, is this possible for new aspiring fashion photographers? Absolutely. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing here. That's what we're focusing on, is world-class photography for aspiring fashion photographers that want to do it, want to take it to the next level, that want to shoot the greatest images of your lifetime and basically, shoot with Dolce Gabbana models. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? To give you that access, because, essentially once you have this in your portfolio, and then you want to go and, contact Dolce Gabbana or Gucci or Vogue, the chances of you booking them goes up exponentially, because now you've got that talent in your book. It makes all the difference in the world. So, and Bree says, when will that be happening? In April of 2026? Yes. So I'm glad you asked that, Bree. Just to kind of give you guys context, we have only 2 more workshops this year left, and these workshops do all sell out. So, and just so you know, the Elite Masterclass in October is completely sold out, and there's a waiting list. And no, I cannot let any more people in that because it is so popular. It is completely sold out. I do have one spot left in New York, which is high fashion. That's in September 16th through 20th. And then we have our Newport Beach in February. That's on commercial lifestyle advertising, which Matt Shogan, he attended that one, which was incredible. I believe where he did the masterclass. We have the Newport Beach one, and then we have the Elite Fashion Masterclass in LA, that's in March. That's March 24th through 28th, and then Miami Beach, April 14th to 18th. That one always sells out every year. It is one of our most favorite, most popular workshops, and it is absolutely an incredible experience. It is included with both resort lifestyle advertising, like the content that you just saw with Stephen Paul. We also have 2 days on shooting Sports Illustrated swimsuit supermodels. So it gives you a combination. So 3 days lifestyle, and you don't have to do all 5 days, but it gives you an option to do 3 days commercial resort lifestyle, and then 2 days shooting with Sports Illustrated supermodels. McCall Jones, okay, you talk often about becoming a media buy. 80% of my latest contract that he landed, awesome, McCall, is for media buying for his brand. Before you talked about it, I would never considered it as part of my offering portfolio. So McCall, I know we worked together. You attended Miami Beach. You shot some of the greatest, you did shoot the greatest images of your lifetime. Tell me about, I'd love for you to, actually, McCall, can you just jump on real quick? I'd love to hear from you and tell me a little bit about your, and then I'm gonna get to Kat, because Kat is, I just saw you chant up as well. But McCall, could you just tell me about that latest campaign that you're booking? Because I'm really excited about that, and I know that you incorporated some of our strategy for media buy and everything into it. So anyway, let me know if that works, or you can ask to be a panelist, McCall. So hopefully that works. Sometimes people can join, sometimes they can't. All right. I'll invite you. Either way, if you do, yeah, there we go. McCall has joined the room. And I'm in love with your photography, McCall, that you shot with us in Miami Beach. It's absolutely incredible. So good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
So McCall, you're joining me from California. I'm in France at the castle. Now, you shot at the Miami Beach workshop and you shot the greatest images of your lifetime. But tell me about, obviously, the experience first, and then I want you to tell me a little bit about what the coaching that we've given you and Eric has given you and I've given you, how that's landed this latest campaign.
Sure. The Miami experience was absolutely amazing. You are correct. I did shoot the best images of my career. It has dramatically transformed not only my book, but the conversations that I've been having. I just randomly met a swimwear brand last weekend, and I asked her how often does she photograph or hire photographers, and she says, well, I'm not really looking for anybody. But then I said, well, here, have a look and let me have your opinion of my website. I showed it to her and she goes, oh, well, by the way, I'm actually looking for a photographer right now. So her story changed 180 degrees when she saw the work.
I love it.
I submitted a bid actually a couple of days ago with Eric's help, actually. And the initial bid for her, she's just a startup, and we went through it. But basically, the first bid I sent to her was $20,000 with hiring models. She has a lot of her own models, and we're going to use her models. But I got the bid down to about $10,000, so not quite the $200,000 offer. But she's here, she's local, and she's quite gung-ho. She's taking it very seriously about launching her swimwear brand. She was familiar with Zimmerman and Andy Baggis and Shine and all the brands that we shot in Miami.
Nice.
And having the world-class models really made a difference. I mean, it really helped to communicate to her that not only am I, a great photographer, but I know what I'm doing as it relates to producing, as it relates to working with professionals, and as it relates to making a shoot, really look the best it possibly can. As far as the media buy, this is with an existing production client. I produced a 10 video series for him, and now he wants to promote it. And thanks to the conversations that you're constantly talking about the multiple streams of income as it relates to not just photography, but in terms of focusing on video, focusing on media buying, becoming an ad agency, becoming a producer. I've spent 15 plus years in advertising. I've been producing for decades, but adding the media buying component was a game changer because basically it'll be the least amount of effort I've had to put in for the kind of money. Oh, it's also my single largest contract as well, by the way.
Nice.
I mean, it's still not $200,000. It's a $15,500 project.
Oh, poor McCall. He's only making $15,500. Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure a lot of photographers down here would be killed for that opportunity. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of work and a lot of effort, and finally it's there. And the client said, "Look, I trust you from what you've done. I've always loved the work that you've delivered to me." And he handed me a check, and I was like, "Great, thanks." And we both laughed because he looked at me and said, he's been retired from teaching and did very well with his investments. He goes, the check I just handed you was larger than my entire salary for my first year of teaching. Wow. And we both kind of chuckled at that. So, but you were right about the media buying. I'm going to be buying media specifically on YouTube to promote his videos. And it'll most likely, if all this goes well, it'll most likely turn into a third contract. So step by step. It's been step by step, but thank you and Eric for all your help. And it's been certainly obviously a game changer, and it's taken me longer than I figured it might, but I had no idea. But
well,
at least
you only came to one workshop too. I mean, you've only come to one workshop, and look at what he's done from his images from one experience, like just coming to Miami Beach. But it's a real testament to show you guys once you create. And by the way, guys, like if you go to his website, basically the entire website is shot at our workshop. Like he created this unbelievable brand and he just ran with it. And McCall's really getting the most out of this incredible content. So I'm super proud of you, McCall. And I'm really, really impressed at all this. I mean, just look at these images. They're just out of this world. Super proud of the content you shot. And I just cannot wait till, we keep seeing the growth and the explosion going forward with you. But awesome. And I can't wait to see you again in person.
I'm looking forward to seeing you. The update for you, I did actually send out my first my first mass emailing to the ad agencies, and then I got busy with more local bids and things. But now it's the time where I just get to knuckle down and start making those phone calls like a fiend. That's the stage that I'm at right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's what I like to hear.
Forward to seeing you.
McCall. I appreciate it, man. You're an inspiration to us all.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Talk to you all later. Have fun. Gang.
I just love to hear it. And I love to celebrate success stories. So thank you, McCall. You're a hero.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Now I'd love to hear from the great Kat Robinson. I'm inviting you on as a presenter. And also, Paul, if you're on, I would love for you to jump on as well and share some of your experiences at the French Dream Castle. I know it's late. Paul took a trip not only to France to join me, and he just left obviously a few days back. And now he's in Italy. So we were talking about him joining as well. So I'd love to hear him as well. So anyway, Kat, let me know if that worked. I just invited you as a panelist. And I'll invite you again. And if it doesn't work, Kat, just put should allow you to put your hand up to ask to speak. So let me know that works. Anyway, these are great. I just love to hear the success stories. I love not only we have a lot of new photographers on here that haven't been involved with us yet, but to hear from our past attendees that have taken our workshops. We have so many of them on right now. It's amazing to see. I mean, we have all these great photographers that we get to see, like Prince Williams. He's been taking workshops with me for like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years. Matt Shogan, we just heard from him. He just attended some epic workshops with us. We have Mike Weilet. He's coming to his 15th workshop this September, which he also came to the French Dream Castle last year. So amazing to see you, buddy. David Gesprecht, he's a world-class photographer who shoots for like Netflix. He's attended several of our workshops and has done a one-on-one with me. We've got the great Stephen Paul, who we just heard from. I just did a coaching session with him yesterday. We just saw his work. We have all these incredible photographers. Some of them that have come to our university, some of them that have attended in person. I know Evan Siegel was on. I just did a one-on-one with him in Sydney, Australia. And he's attended like, I don't know, 6 or 7 workshops at least. Anyway, it's just so good to see so many of the familiar faces. I love it. I love to see you guys on here. Matt Shogan says, Prince is the man. Love talking with you in LA. Mike's Miami photos are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely. Yeah. And Kat Robinson, yeah, go ahead and request to speak. I know you're having some technical glitches, but go ahead and do that. So Kat, let me know if that works for you. Sometimes it gets a little challenging with joining as a presenter. But let me know if you still have any challenges. The other thing I can do is, Kat, I'm also going to send you a direct link. You may need to jump off and jump back in with this direct link. Let me just see here, Kat. I'm just going to send you a direct link there. So let me know if that works for you, Kat, as well. Anyway, and now what I really want to get into, though, is back to the models, because I know that's what you guys are all joining me for. And this is a really important topic. So the other aspect, too, is I want to discuss working with the models, because it's one thing to book them. It's one thing to have them on set. It's another thing to like art direct them, to manage them, to deal with, you know, their personalities, to deal with sometimes dramas, sometimes high maintenance, sometimes challenges. You know, it can be a lot of things. And to be able to art direct them and essentially get the most out of the models, that's something that I would say is one of my specialties. And I want to give you guys some coaching on how to do that, how to essentially maximize it. Now, I'm also going to show you a whole bunch of video, because now I use Premiere, I use Final Cut, and then also just for basic clips and stuff like that, just to pull clips out. Sometimes I just use things as simple as iMovie, just because it's really easy for my staff to like take those clips and do stuff with them. So, you know, whether they're putting them on social media, putting them on Canva, things like that, which I absolutely love. And if you guys aren't doing that already, I would say, like, if you're going to use, you know, for social media, it's really, really useful to use Canva. I love using that because it's really, really easy to put it in any format you want to. So I'm just going to show you some of the epic clips that, you know, we had this amazing experience. Let me know if you guys can see this full screen. Just message it in the chat. I just want to know if that was working full screen. Anyway, let me know, guys. But this just gives you some of the taste and give you a little bit of an idea of what this experience was all about. Now, of course, we shot with all these different supermodels. We shot all these different sequences. Obviously, this content is this Dolce Gabbana model, which was completely ridiculous and completely over the top. Now, she had this really interesting sensibility to her where she was very stoic. Like, she'd never smiled. She wasn't really like, oh, it is full screen? Okay, thanks, Thomas. I appreciate that. I'm going to do that again then, just so you guys can see a little bit of full screen action. So, you know, a model like this, she just naturally posed, which I do love. I love like naturally posing models, and they can just absolutely rock it. You just let her do her thing. I also do give her a little bit of coaching. She's so high end though, that like she wants a little guidance, but she wants to kind of do it her way. Now she isn't going to give me smiles. She's not going to do lifestyle, but she has these little like expressions and moments. The only challenge with a model like this is she almost looks too stoic sometimes. So sometimes I tell her like, hey, you know, part your lips, move this way, move that way, etc. But she's going for that Dolce Gabbana look, right? Which they're never smiling. So, which is okay. You know, it's essentially what we're going for with this with the vibe. She also happened to be a professional horse rider. So she rode the horse. She does like professional horse jumping competitions and stuff like that. So she's really, really comfortable on the horses, which was really, really helpful. Okay. So, yeah, anyway, gorgeous content. And when I'm working with her, I also like want to know, hey, if you are going to work with horses, I need to know their experience, because sometimes models, like, they say, oh yeah, I like horses. I rode one when I was 7, but then they're scared to death of the horse. And then we have all kinds of problems on set. So this girl obviously worked the horses. She rode the horses. She rode the horses bareback. We had all these amazing scenes with her throughout the week. It was absolutely incredible. And these are also really high-end horses too. The white one was actually a professional jumping horse that wins championships all the time. Anyway, this is inside the castle. Also some incredible little moments. These are absolutely beautiful, but you can see some of her movements there that we're capturing, not only video, but also photographic, and creating these just really beautiful, nuanced moments throughout the experience. Love the leg movements. Some of that art direction is really, really, really key. So anyway, you know, when I'm directing models like this, it's more so like coaching them along and then letting them get into their moments. And then I'm going to be getting the right angles from them. If the model is a little bit, you know, too posy, which I did have another model who was a little bit almost too posy, I had to kind of tone her back a little bit. This girl would almost pose a little too much, and she was absolutely stunning, but I had to like tone her back and then coach her into certain moments that I wanted to get from her. And she has this beautiful, sexy look. And I just had to give her a little bit more nuance into, similar to the Dolce Gabbana model, but she was incredible too. And all these little details too. I mean, just even the background, guys, this is my 49 room palace. I do everything here. We do, myself and Priscilla, who is essentially, she planted like over 700 dahlias, roses, and stargazer lilies within the gardens. So like that garden behind the model, like took endless amounts of hours and work to get to look like that and timed right for this production. We literally carved the vines into the castle. Like those vines will take over the entire castle, but I literally was up on a 70-foot cherry picker, trimming them. It took like 4 days, about 18 hours a day, working on it to get it to look like that. But all the details to make sure the castle looks as absolutely perfect as possible. it's not only producing and doing the shoot itself, but it's also making sure that the actual location is perfect as well, which is, there's a lot that goes into it, just so you guys know. But when everything comes together and the magic happens, it's really special. It's really fun. Anyway, Kat, let me know if that's working for you, because I'd love for you to jump on. Okay. Also, Jose asked another great question. Jose Sosa says, what camera and lenses did you guys use? So great question. We exclusively use the Canon R series. So we're shooting with the Canon R5s and Canon R5Cs. So I love those. They're great mirrorless cameras. They shoot in 8K or in 4K at 120 frames a second, which is key when you're shooting on gimbals. They are absolutely beautiful on gimbals, and they really, really work beautifully. So I definitely recommend those. They're my favorite photographic and video cameras that they have right now, and they've been out for a while, so they're not even that expensive, but they are beautiful, beautiful pieces of equipment. So anyway, this gives you just a little taste of this is just part of one of the days to give you an idea. And then also there's some amazing, this is gorgeous because she's like actually riding the horse, galloping it on the front courtyard of the castle, and she's doing it bareback too, which is logistically challenging, but looks amazing. Anyway, love to showcase some of this content. It's beautiful. Hey, there she is, the great Kat Robinson.
How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah. She was just with me here at the Palace, literally in this room that I'm sitting in, dining on Michelin star dining experiences. So Kat, we had the time of our lives. Honestly, this was an experience of a lifetime. It was so memorable. We created all these amazing memories and experiences. I had an absolute blast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience here at the French Dream Castle?
Absolutely. So I didn't know what to expect. To be honest, it was my first solo international trip. So my nerves were a little bit racking before I got there, but it was, Priscilla was so accommodating, from her and Derek picking us up at the airport the entire time. It was just, there was nothing to worry about. It was absolutely stunning, beautiful. My room alone, waking up to church bells and owls and rain drizzle, it was amazing. I was like, do I have to go back? So, as far as, of course, the scenes were epic, and the energy that you and everyone else brings to the table is so contagious. You just don't want to stop shooting, which we almost did until the sun went down, So, I think I have 7,000 images.
Oh my goodness.
My first cut of day one, was 240 images. So I'm trying to really, get down to 40. Eric said 100 was fine. But yes, I love going back through them. All the ladies were, Sam, Caroline, Andrea, Elena, she was, they're so sweet. They're really good humans. And LaSalle, Victor, amazing at what they do and who they are. Then you've got Matilda and Thomas and Nicholas, taking care of us, it's just to be surrounded by the best of the best. What else can you ask for?
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the dining experiences, because this is something that I know that there is literally no other workshop in the world that does anything like this. And we literally had two Michelin stars, chefs, providing all these decadent, unbelievable dining experiences. And we're eating in these decadent gold rooms that are decorated with 24 karat gold. This gives you a little bit behind the scenes of what some of the dining experiences look like. And there's a great cat too. So tell us a little bit about the dining experiences.
And it's just hand and foot. Some of the best, the charcuterie every day. This is how I learned what saucisson was and that I needed to have it in my life.
Yeah.
I took some home, by the way. Not from the castle, but from Paris. But it was best ahi tuna I've ever had. The dinner under the stars was, that salmon with the zucchini. Anything you needed, and breakfast. I mean, it's the first time I tried soft boiled eggs. As a Southern girl, we just eat hard boiled eggs. So, I tried some new things, and it was, I mean, everything was amazing. Everything was so fresh. And even Paul said, I can eat cheese over here,
And also, you had a butler. This is your private butler that was serving you beverages throughout the week. Tell us a little bit about that. Literally, he's in tails, like Jeeves, serving you beverages while you're on set.
Yes, Nicholas was absolutely amazing. Just hand and foot, you don't even have to ask for anything. It's already presented, things you didn't even know you wanted. You're like, oh, yes, I would like that. So, yeah, it was just absolutely lovely,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And you're just kind of.
And then we have Priscilla playing the violin, and we have a pianist and Paul playing the guitar. So there's this beautiful live music, when we're not shooting and that sort of thing. But I mean, it's just, and the acoustics were amazing. It was just absolutely beautiful.
Yes. I wanted to play, play a little bit of that. So you guys can kind of see the what Dining Under the Stars looked like, which I thought was really cool. That was, to me, I wanted to do it, and the weather cooperated on one of the days, and we were able to do a little experience under the stars. So this is like just a casual video of us dining under the stars, literally outside on the castle courtyard, having this decadent Michelin star dining experience. And that's our fabulous fashion house, by the way. But we all got to eat together with the models, with the stylists every night.
Yeah, the camaraderie was wonderful. Everything was just wonderful. And then you also brought in a grand piano. I think it was Wednesday.
I did. As it's not ridiculous enough, I'm like, this massive grand piano, like the size of a car. We were like, oh, well, we flew in this professional pianist from Canada for the shoot, and we wanted him to perform. And we were performing along with Priscilla, who's a professional violinist. And then a couple of our photographers who are also world-class guitar players as well, like Paul Batson. So we had this whole musical thing going on, and we brought in, literally on one of the days, we're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna drive out, pick up a piano that's about the size of a car, and bring it to the castle, and then we'll play. And it was absolutely insane. I'll pull up some pictures in a bit of some of the content we shot, because we shot it with the top models. It was completely over the top.
Yeah, it's those are some of my favorite shots. It's hard to pick a favorite. I mean, that's the hardest part.
It is. I know. It is hard to pick a favorite. And did you have a favorite scene that you were just like, oh my God, I'm in love with it?
I mean, the horses are amazing, but the ballet studio, goodness, I mean, and of course, all four being in the same scene, but then also dancing. Leonard and Alina were dancing. That's one of my favorites.
Definitely. And I know we have thousands of pictures to go through, so we're still in that culling phase. So the dance studio, which, by the way, guys, if I don't know if any of you here are ballet buffs, but there is a really extremely famous, he's the most famous ballet dancer in world history. His name's Rudolf Nureyev. If you guys aren't familiar with him, this is Rudolf Nureyev. So he is a Russian ballet dancer. He's like the most famous ballet dancer in history. And he essentially danced at the Paris Ballet with the prima ballerina Ghislaine, who ended up, Ghislaine and her partner bought this castle from the Count and Countess. This is like 80 years ago. And they moved in and they built Nureyev a ballet studio. So I have the Rudolf Nureyev ballet studio on the third level of my castle. And it's really, really incredible and valuable. And what I did is I've completely renovated it from the ground up, transformed the entire thing, and stripped it completely back and redid it all. And now it's this decadent palatial ballet studio like Versailles. So we did a photo shoot in it, and it was pretty incredible, right?
Yeah, it was perfect. That was
Awesome.
absolutely amazing. And just when you think you've got the shot, I'm like, well, what's happening now? You know, so one thing changes, like when Sam and Andrea decided to take kind of a break and just like lay down and talk to each other. And I was like, we got to shoot that too. You know, it keeps evolving. And so it's just never ending, like a never ending scene of beauty, you know?
And, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's one of the things that I think is really cool about it being a workshop, because you have these other photographers with different angles, different perspectives, and, you know, something that you might not have thought about. And then, all of a sudden we've changed everything up and we've created this whole other moment that maybe another photographer may have, you know, conceived of an art director.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, so much fun.
So it evolves, which is what you're saying, and I think that's brilliant. I know we were talking a little bit about the piano, so I actually wanted to pull up a really cool scene. This is just a raw clip from it to give you guys a little bit of a taste.
Yeah, the angles in this with Andrea were, I mean, both of them, but just amazing.
Yeah. So, and this entire room, it's gilded in 24 karat gold. I did all of this. We did all of this from scratch. This entire room, I've literally gutted it to its core and redid it. So all of this, I've basically made it magical for these productions. So using it for massive scale film productions, photographic shoots, TV shows, things like that. So, but yeah, this is the piano that we were talking about. This piano that I just acquired for it is from the 1890s. And we had it delivered into the castle, and we used it for the shoot. So it's pretty amazing, and it played really well. So fabulous, Cap. Now, I know this is probably a crazy, crazy experience you just came from. You're just like, oh my gosh, I just went to France. I shot with supermodels and stuff like that. I'm really excited about what's next, because Kat, you literally, you have a new lease on life. You have a new brand. You have a new body of work with these top A-list supermodels. You are unstoppable now. So what I'm really excited is to see, like, what's next for Kat Robinson, and tell us, like, where do you want to go from here?
So absolutely. I definitely want to get to Newport Beach. That's February, because I do want to do lifestyle, I think, and that fits really well with my style and my sentiment. But I mean, all of these fashion, they're absolutely beautiful. But I do believe lifestyle is my direction. Because I love, like you say, the happy joy, you know, happy days, you know. So that's definitely what I want to focus on. And so just working on the business side of things, Eric is absolutely amazing. Giving me a 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the first steps, you know, do these things next, you know. I'm like, okay, you know, and I work well with expectation. So that's really nice. Eric's amazing. So I'll accomplish those by next week. You know, so we'll go on from there.
Fabulous. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because, you know, I know as photographers, right, we get caught up. We get in our own way all the time, right? And oftentimes, you know, we shoot the greatest images of our lifetime, just like you did, and then we just sit on our pictures. So what I know is that you just shot the greatest pictures of your lifetime. You need to go out and you need to market these things like crazy. Absolutely. Kat, you also attended the university with me, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So now you are armed with the skills of photographic branding, photographic marketing, networking with decision makers, and closing the deal. So now you have all the skills in your tool belt, and you've got the content.
Yes.
So now, and then you mentioned something, you wanted to shoot lifestyle, which is happy, healthy people having fun, enjoying life. So it's a bit different than this. This is high fashion, where it's more about the apparel, right? And what Kat's talking about is shooting lifestyle. It's this type of story where we're art directing these amazing moments. We're creating these moments. We're allowing them to unfold, and then we're capturing them. And to me, I get really excited about this. And by the way, guys, we are literally the only photographic workshop in the world that offers commercial lifestyle advertising photographic workshops. We are the only one. There is no other in the entire world. And the reason is because these are extremely complicated and expensive to put on. So just the sheer scale of this, because we're shooting 4, 5, 6 models in a day, sometimes even more. And we're art directing these, and it's not just all in a day, we're shooting them all in a scene. So there's a lot of scenes in which we're shooting 3, 4, 5, 6 models in a scene, which is extremely complicated. And it's probably the hardest photography you can ever do. So if you can master this, you can be, even though it doesn't look hard, this is literally like 10 times harder than the fashion stuff.
The models make it look easy.
They do, but the nuances, and what I do want to say here is that of the photographers that have attended, like Mike Weilet, for instance, he's coming to his 15th workshop in a month and a half from now in New York. What he says, and what most of my photographers will always say, is that the thing that they gain most out of this, the art direction. And this is what the nuances of the art direction and the storytelling and how to coach the models into these moments, how to art direct these scenes, allow them to unfold and then boom, capture them. This is the next level. And this is what I want to work with you on. This is challenging. This is not easy. I'm just going to warn you. It's a lot harder than what you did in France, where it's like you got a Dolce Gabbana model just doing her thing and you just basically put a camera in front and shoot it. It's there and it's epic. This is something where we have to construct it. We have to create it, and we have to coach the models into these moments, and they look authentic. But this is all from me. Like, I art directed all of them, So it looks authentic, but this is all very carefully worked with every single one of these. From the movements of the arms, the hands, the smiles, the little nuances of the way he's like grabbing his jacket, to the way that they're holding each other. But it matters, and this is the highest paying photographic and video production right here. Basically, commercial lifestyle advertising and automotive lifestyle is the. I'm really, really, really excited about this with you, Kat, because that's the next step.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm so grateful for the experience, and it just exceeded my expectations. Not that I knew what to expect, but it was more than I could have imagined. Better than I could have imagined. So
that's wonderful to hear. We do like to massively over-deliver on every one of our experiences. And even though, I know some of you guys, even Mike, had attended the last French Dreamcastle workshop, this was light years on another level, even better than that. So I'm really, really proud of literally the greatest workshop we've ever directed in the 16-year history of the photography workshop series. And we're trying to do that at every single workshop and outdo ourselves every single time. And it's hard to do because they're so epic, but I'm so proud of what we did that literally the front page of the photography workshop series website, if you guys go to it now, the very front page of it, the first image that comes up is from this workshop. And I rarely change the avatar, but I'm just so proud of what we shot. And I feel like, boom, drop the mic. That's it. That's
throw the camera from the
throw the camera, Kat. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you were an absolute joy. I loved your energy, Kat, on set. You were so much fun. You were so just wonderful with the models. You gelled with them. You hung out with them, joked with them. You had, in the evenings, you got to have dinner with them, and lunches with them, and, being silly with the stylists, and just, you had a blast. And I think that it really helped having that camaraderie because it made the models feel really connected to you and trust you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a big deal. It was very cool to see and experience,
Absolutely. And all that bonding paid off because your images are otherworldly. And when the models trust you like that and they believe in you, it means that they're going to give more and they're going to give their all and they're going to keep shooting. And they did. And they were incredible. And all 4 girls were just absolutely unbelievable to work with. And we shot.
And heels for hours and pebbles. I was like, their work ethic is impressive, True
professionals. That's what it's all about, is true professionals. And and I was very careful the way that I casted these girls to get the best of the best. And I was very, 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 very happy with all of them. So I'm very proud of what you shot. And Kat, you need to just go out there and just show the world this work, because this work is like going to change your life.
I know. I need more adjectives. Like I said before.
We did. Exactly.
Something magical and epic. Like, there's only so many times, I'm like, I need more, more adjectives.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kat. And I can't wait to see you in Newport Beach. Please set up your image review with your photographic coach. So with Eric, If you can do that in the next week, please, 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 please those pictures. You already did the image review?
We set it up. We did one today, and we set up for next week.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Awesome. Because I want you to select the best of the best. And then that way you can use those for your mastered new portfolio. And of course, you got the epic video too that I'm going to be sending you after as soon as I get back from France. And then you can use that for your master reel.
That's exciting.
And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is also some of these epic video clips that we've been editing, I'm going to send those to you as well. So you can go ahead and put those right on your website. Well, thank you so much, Kat. And I can't wait to see you at the next one.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. All right, guys. Anyway, that was amazing. I love to hear it. I just am really, really proud to show off our photographers, their experiences, to hear from them, and to have them come on live, because it obviously means a lot when you guys get to see our photographers live and hear from them about their experiences on set, creating magic, creating the most, mind-blowing stories. I'm really proud. And I mean, we shot, tens of thousands of images. So just going through them is taking some time. However, we also, to me, the video comes first as well, because the video is extremely valuable for me. And as we progress and as AI takes over photography, guys, video is becoming more and more important. It becomes something where, especially if you have a high profile model, especially if you have a model that's been in, Dolce Gabbana, if you've got talent at that level, they become a brand in and of themselves. And it's more than just, hey, let's just AI a model, a fake model. It's something where they become a brand, and people, they want to book you because you're working with a model that has a brand. And that means a lot. So the more high profile the model, the better off you're going to be, because the less replaceable you're going to be by AI, unless they're going to be just licensing likeness from the model. But other than that, it's going to be really, really important for you to basically just shoot high profile models. And the more high profile they are, the more likely that you're going to, basically be booked if you have that in your portfolio. And that's why I'm really adamant about having unbelievable high profile models in all of our shoots, because if you guys have these incredible top supermodels in your portfolios, the chances of you being booked go way, 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 way up. It's next level. And that's why it's important, especially in this era. But also the video content is vital. Here's a few more of the image. I just love this. Love the story from this girl. And all of the models, but this is just absolutely stunning. These are just some of the raw pictures out of Bridge, and really, really love some of the sequences. And of course the video as well, because we did video on the gimbal of literally every single one of these amazing stories. All right, if you guys have any other questions, I'd love to answer them. But essentially, when we're art directing these moments, I want you guys to, first of all, make sure that you bond with the models. Make sure that the models feel comfortable with you. And then you kind of have to gauge what their interest level is in the art direction. And most importantly, I want you guys to command the set. This is something that a lot of photographers, they struggle with, is they don't necessarily command. They might art direct, they might, kind of gauge where the model is in the camera and stuff like that, but they're not like commanding the model into the moment. I do want you to do that. I can tell you that you're going to get way more out of your talent and way more respect out of your talent if you command the set and direct them. They want to be directed. Even the A-listers, like the Dolce Gabbana model, she wanted me to tell her what to do. She wanted me to give her guidance, because these models, as gorgeous as they are, they're some of the most insecure people in the world. And they want to make sure that they're going to look good in their pictures. If they don't look amazing in their pictures, they're going to feel self-conscious, and they're not going to give you their all. So it's really important for me to not only command and direct them, but also give them a lot of, positive words like, oh my God, that looks amazing. Oh, keep doing that. Do more of that. Oh my God, it's incredible. And give them a lot of guidance on set, but also command and direct them. And if you guys are a little bit more introverted, You got to practice it. You got to practice being a little bit more directorial in commanding the models. And even if you can't verbally, outwardly say it, maybe just, explain to the models what you want. But the more directorial, the more they're going to respect you. It's super important. By the way, I had some other great comments on here. Jose Souza says, wow, I mentioned which camera were you shooting with, the R5s, R5Cs. He says, wow, for a moment, I thought you guys were using an ARRI Alexa, which is awesome to hear. Because yeah, an ARRI Alexa, just so you guys know, if you guys don't know what that is a large scale motion picture camera. Major, $100 million motion pictures are filmed with an ARRI Alexa. And that's, it's a beast of a camera. It's a major motion picture camera, just to give you an idea of what that looks like. It's one of these. And yes, I do shoot with these. I love ARRI Alexas. I think they're the best cameras out there. I love them way more than Reds, way more than anything else. But and we have used them on set at the Photography Workshop Series on multiple occasions. We have shot with ARRI Alexas with the Photography Workshop Series. So it just depends on which workshop we're doing. But oftentimes I have found over the years that in fact, I'll even pull up one that was shot on an Alexa just to show you guys. But despite that, I still feel like, even though the Alexa's shooting on a $100,000 camera is awesome, but I think, like, honestly, the Reds offer I'm sorry, the Canon R5s offer almost the same quality. It's just and they're super lightweight and it's much easier to navigate. So this one was actually shot on an ARRI Alexa, just to show you guys the difference. This was at one of our photographic workshops, our Elite Masterclass. It's very buttery. It's very unbelievable, very cinematic. It's gorgeous, just has a certain look to it. So this is an ARRI Alexa. So we shot this at our Elite Masterclass fashion workshop. This is all done with an ARRI Alexa. But we do bring them on from time to time. I just prefer the lightweight ability on a gimbal because it's really hard to put something this on like a stabilizing gimbal because the ARRI Alexas are so big. Whereas an R5, you can toss it on a gimbal and you can just run around and move around with it really quickly, especially if you're doing lifestyle. Be strongly recommended to use a lightweight camera. Whereas with fashion, we could do a little bit more stuff on tripod, which we did here, but it's gorgeous as well. But anyway, that's a big compliment. So thank you so much, Jose. I appreciate that. And Kenneth mentions great insight on art direction as a muscle. That is so true. McCall mentioned that is basically the art direction was really the single biggest muscle he gained from the workshops. So absolutely. So anyway, guys, if you guys haven't done it already, I would strongly recommend you guys set up a one-on-one photographic momentum session. Even if you guys have taken a bunch of workshops in the past, or even if you've done one of these sessions in the past, now there's no better time than now to set up a momentum session with one of our team members to go over what's next and how to crush it going into 2026. I just put the link in the chat. Please set one up. And I really look forward to working with each and every one of you guys for basically the next revolution in your photography to help you guys create the greatest images and the greatest video you've ever shot in your lifetime, guaranteed. So the next productions we have coming up, we're going to be, I know many of you guys on this right now, I'm going to be meeting you in New York, and we're going to be shooting some mind-blowing content at the New York Fashion Workshop. If you guys are not enrolled in that yet, but have an interest in it, please let me know, and we can discuss getting you guys involved in the very last spot in this experience. But it will be one of the most epic fashion workshops that we do ever with the Photography Workshop Series. So I'm gearing up for some mind-blowing stuff, and we're definitely leveling up as we go year in, year out to make it the most mind-blowing. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me at this amazing photographic webinar on shooting Dolce & Gabbana models, essentially how to art direct them, how to cast them, how to book them, how to, and essentially why we need them to be able to shoot at the highest level to book the biggest opportunities. You guys also got a little insight on how to, manage budgets, manage the proposals, land campaigns, and also how to put together the creative briefs and stuff like that. If you guys have any more questions on that, please jump on our coaching session with one of our coaches and they'll go in depth about that with you. I can't wait to see you guys in person to create the greatest images of your lifetime. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.